Today's guest is Missouri State track head coach Jordan Fife. Coach, how you doing?
Doing all right. Excited to be here.
Great. Welcome to Inside the Cave. Today's broadcast sponsor is American National Insurance. Insurance you can count on for wherever life takes you. American National Insurance proudly supports Camp Barnabas, which provides Christian camping experiences to individuals with special needs and chronic illnesses, along with their siblings. Later this spring, in one of our upcoming Inside the Cave editions, we'll have a special segment where American National Insurance will present Camp Barnabas with a donation. To learn more, visit campbarnabas.org. Yes, well, tell us how the quarantine has affected you and people around the track program.
Sure. The hardest part I think was trying to figure out how to navigate these, upcoming weeks from a training standpoint, when we would normally be right in the middle of an outdoor season right now. Especially for the cross country group, we kind of have a routine of going from season to season and when we take our breaks. And so I know a lot of that is, trying to figure out whether that's consulting with other coaches that are out there, friends of mine in the profession, and just kind of seeing how they're doing it. Trying to have training, mirror a little bit of a season right now, but maybe take an earlier break than normal. First and foremost, everybody's, back in the classroom, so to speak, not really in the classroom, but, back with classes. And so that becomes, priority number one, finishing out the semester the way we need to, running every day and it being just so much more than training and for sport. And so, hopefully that's benefiting them as well.
You able to monitor them and their schoolwork right now, even though it's online?
Yeah, so our academic support staff is doing a great job of keeping us up to date with how things are going. And then, per event group, per coach within that event group, we're checking in on those groups and making sure that there aren't any, issues or questions that we need answers to. And it's just about keeping those lines of communication open and making sure that we're on top of things. But we feel good about where we are right now.
Are you able to monitor their training as well? I guess most of which you don't have to worry about, but there's probably a couple you do.
Sure. This is such a unique time. And, for some of them, because it's such an integral part of who they are, they need a bit more than they would normally do if they were, in classes on campus, from a training standpoint, from a mileage standpoint. Some others, when you get that, solo effort, when it's just you and yourself and nobody around you, it becomes a lot more difficult. And so we've got, quite the range of where everybody is right now as far as that focus and that energy. But there's no playbook for this. You just kind of have to keep going through it and allow some flexibility with that training. And we do have a weekly training plan that goes out, and then mileage books for a few more weeks before we shut things down for the summer, and then ramp up for cross country.
Today's broadcast sponsor is American National Insurance. We'd also like to thank the Missouri State Bookstore. Shop online at MissouriStateBookstore.com for all your bearware needs. Coach, we've talked to a couple other coaches about how you're communicating with the athletes. What form are you guys using and how is that going?
Yeah, primarily, we use a group chat, kind of a text message, group me, to get out any information we need to. We've been doing some of these Zoom calls as well as we see fit. Last Monday, we did one as an entire team and as an entire program, track and cross country, kind of just a motivational, from a motivational standpoint, bringing in some professional runners to speak with the team and just to tell them to keep their heads up and to stay positive and to stay focused on their goals. And so just kind of plugging those things in from time to time, I think is what they need to just keep moving forward.
This is a very unusual season for everybody, but you had a lot of newcomers on the squad. How have they handled this?
Yeah, I mean, track and field wise, we had over 50% of our roster was new, whether that was incoming freshmen or transfer. And so, not only did it allow us to kind of set a new tone for how we want to do things and what our expectations are, it just made it easier with so many people wanting to buy in from day one. And so, this is, I don't know if there's really a whole lot of difference between the newcomers and the veterans at this point, because this is something nobody's ever experienced, and certainly feeling a little bit of a loss with that outdoor season. Um, we really felt like the momentum was swinging in our favor, after the indoor season, and we were very, very excited for outdoor, and just to kind of have that taken away was a big, big loss. But certainly this is, season that we lost. It's there's a whole lot of more important things out there right now. And so everybody understands that and knows that, hey, we just got to keep working and stay positive, and, our time will come.
I'm sure the leaders on the squad and the coaching staff have to explain to some of the new players, this is not a normal college year for them, right? You have so many new athletes on the teams, and this is not exactly what college life's all about, staying at home, these days.
Yeah, this is something nobody's experienced up to this point. I mean, you have all the newcomers come from a different background. How involved their teams are and their coaching staffs, how close they are, and so realizing that we're still a team. Whether we're out there every day at practice or at meets or not. We do look forward to the day where we're back together and we can keep this thing going the way we kind of had it set up to be, this winter.
For people that don't know, you guys, you kind of have a celebrity coaching staff. Give us an update. Tell us a little bit about your staff.
Yeah, so our this is year two of our current staff. Coach Carmelita Jetter, handles the sprints, hurdles, relays, and her accolades are pages long. Gold and silver and bronze and world record and all of that multi times over. And Coach Bridson, handles all of our field eventers, our multis, heptathletes, and he also was a collegiate athlete, and he brings a little bit more to the table from a educational standpoint, a research standpoint. Picking the brains of some of the best coaches out there in the country, and bringing that to our staff, while myself and Coach Jetter bring more of the athletic background and how did we do things, an athlete competing, and then kind of molding that around who we have on our team. And so I think it's just a really good fit, a really good mix, that we kind of have a lot of different angles, all coming together as one.
And if you're going to have a young squad, it helps to have a good staff like that to be able to relate to the youngsters in your experience.
Sure. I mean, they, especially with Coach Jet, whether it's a sprinter or a field eventer or a distance runner, I mean, they can all gather, valuable information from our experiences. And so if Coach Brightson and I, in terms of being on a collegiate track and cross country program. And so, it allows them to see that, hey, they know what they're talking about. They've been around the block. They've done it themselves. And this is not just some new thing that really helps.
Once again, today's broadcast is being sponsored by American National Insurance, proud partner of Missouri State Athletics, and a special thank you as well to Hotel Vandevort, Springfield's first urban boutique hotel. Coach, let's talk about cross country and the fall season. Give us an update on how that went, your thoughts.
Yeah, I think we had a squad going in that could really move us, up the ladder, so to speak, within the conference. It's been a slow and steady climb, but it's been a climb, the last several years. Um, just didn't feel like we put things together the way we needed to right at the very end. The conference meet itself. Um, I think if you were to ask every single person on the roster or on the team that day, how they felt about the performance, I don't think anyone, would have felt like it was our best or even close to. We take any positive we can find, and that's certainly a positive. And so they know that, if we can figure that out and be better on the actual day, you know, we could be up another 2 or 3 spots, you know, a year from now. And so, you know, tying our top finish in the conference in the last 10 years or so, and then doing the same, you know, at the NCAA regional meet, tying our top finish in the last decade or so, certainly is a good feeling knowing that we are headed in the right direction. But I think everybody else on the team would tell you that we know we're capable of more, and we probably should have, you know, been able to do a little bit more up to this point. But at the same time, progress is progress, and we'll keep that moving forward.
Any individuals you want to highlight that really came through for you during the fall?
Yeah, so you know we've been led by Grace Brighton, you know, for a couple of years now, and she continues to set a really good example of what it means to be a leader with this group. And we're starting to have people, you know, fall into place and do a really good job of being great teammates and being, you know, big time contributors. You know, Edna Dar, you know, her indoor season, you know, was phenomenal. But, you know, didn't consider herself, you know, cross country runner coming in, but she knows that it's a distance she can still handle, and the training is going better and better when it comes to cross country, and we're going to rely on her in a big way the next couple of years. And then Shelby Palmer, Addison Delaney, you know, from a eligibility standpoint, 2 sophomores that you know are really doing a good job of staying consistent with their training and ramping that up, you know, little by little, and they're taking that on, and we've seen that even within these last several weeks. Those are the two that I think are able to put the most time in. You know, they're able to stay the most mentally focused when it's just them doing the work. And so, you know, with 4 out of our top 5 returning from a year ago, and bringing in another, you know, really good group this upcoming year, and some returners who I think are going to get a lot better in the next year. We fully expect to be, you know, better than we were a year ago, which is always an exciting thing to be.
You were right in the thick of things in the track season, obviously the indoor outdoor track season. Some huge gains for this young squad. Talk a little bit about track and field.
Yeah, the indoor season was a lot of fun. You know, when we came back from Christmas break, and kind of had those first couple of meets, we were a little unsure of what we were going to be able to do. You know, the progress wasn't moving at the rate we wanted it to, and we were a little leery of how things were going to finish up. Um, but because of that young, youthful team and inexperienced team, I needed more and more competitions, and we saw as each meet went along during the indoor season that we were getting better and better performances. We were getting people that were more and more confident in their abilities and in the coaching. And, you know, we went into the conference championships feeling like, you know, we could be sixth or we could be third. And it just depends on how, you know, much we had people step up, you know, at that weekend. And, you know, after day one, looking at the results and looking how many people we had make the finals, looking at some of the other teams and how many people they had make the finals, you know, we really started to think, you know, we might have a shot to really move up here. You know, the goal was just to go in and take care of what we could control. And, you know, after day one, back at the hotel crunching numbers, I started to really think, wow, we could be as high as third here if things go our way. So I sent a late night out to the team from the hotel, just outlining what it was going to take and that it was more than realistic, and everybody came with it on day two. And it came down to the very last event and the very last leg of that relay for us to move into third place. But that's, you know, that's how it goes. That's why we run the meet. And it was just such an exciting time to see, you know, the team celebrating not just that, you know, runner-up finish in the relay that come from behind to put us there, um, but just what that result meant to the team standings and being able to leapfrog teams in the final event and move into third. And fifth or sixth and been, you know, 2 or 3 points from third, it would have been frustrating, but we would have known that, hey, we've advanced and we're here now and we're, you know, we're a contender. But it was even more sweet to just get those extra couple of points and to see the third place, you know, as opposed to a fifth or sixth with that last event. And so, we were really riding up momentum, heading into outdoor, and we were excited to see what was next.
What were your thoughts going into that last event? I mean, did you realistically think you had a pretty good shot?
Well, we knew who was on the relay. We knew they were all tired from multiple events earlier in the day, but we also knew that the other teams, relay members were tired from events earlier in the day, and so we were doing some number crunching even between those last two events, and we knew that, hey, if we can be runner up or better, and if we can beat, a couple of these other teams by at least two spots, not just one spot in the relay, that we'll have enough to catapult in front of them. And so, you go in and you do all you can, for yourself. There's nothing you can do about how those other teams run, and you just hope that the chips fall, your favor. And they did just that, and the big come from behind anchor from Malia. We knew she was capable of that. We had seen it at a meet at Nebraska earlier in the year, where she, had a really, really good split there. So we knew she was capable. It was just a matter of getting her the baton, close enough to those other spots where she was going to feel like she had a chance and to be able to actually go after it. And she did.
A special thank you again to today's broadcast sponsor, American National Insurance. Also, Bambino's Cafe. Great food, great service. Your neighborhood. Order Bambino's to go at bambinoscafe.com. Coach, you talked about Malia. She won the Freshman of the Year award. You had to be very proud of that.
Yeah, she did a great job this indoor season. We could have put her in a couple different events as well. She with the anchor leg on that 4x4, we knew she was capable of running a really fast 400, and we didn't even put her in the open 400. And so, having somebody that's that versatile who can score in multiple events and then also be, a big contributor on relays, those people are very, very valuable to our program. And so, she did a great job coming in as a freshman, not being intimidated, being able to step up in the big moments and know that she's going to be somebody we rely on pretty heavily over the next few years, and we're looking forward to that.
Had some other freshmen step up as well. Jessica Haney in the high jump. Talk a little bit about her.
Yeah, Jessica is a tremendous athlete as well, four-time state champion in the high jump here in Missouri, and so we knew uh, coming in that she was going to be somebody that we can count on, indoor and outdoor for 4 straight years, and she did just that, in her first year. She's a competitor, she's a gamer, and I know she was, a little disappointed with her individual performance at the conference meet, but when you go in there as a freshman and you shake things up and you let people know that you're going to be there, for the next few years, that's something to be proud of. And so I hope she's excited as well about the next few years and being able to, fight for those individual titles and contribute those team points for us.
Coaches talk about athletes' improvements between their freshman and sophomore year. You got such a big freshman class. I'm sure you're hoping that they all jump a little bit next year and the whole team improves because of it.
Yeah, I mean, we had to rely on our freshman class a little more than we would have liked to in any given year. Normally, we like to see just growth and understanding how things work, and getting up to speed with training and the competition level. And sometimes you may not have any increase in performance that first year coming out of high school, but we had a freshman class come in and do big things for us, and we when we went into that indoor meet, the goal wasn't just to use it as, hey, this is just your first time, let's just get the experience and get out. It was, hey, we're in a good position and we can actually contribute, in a big way right off the bat. So don't shy away from that. Let's attack it, let's go after it, and that group did.
Today's broadcast sponsor is American National Insurance. Insurance you can count on for wherever life takes you. We'd also like to thank the Doubletree by Hilton Springfield, located at Glenstone and Kearney, where a warm cookie always awaits your arrival. Well, you had some veterans that also stood out. One of those, sophomore Edna Dar, you'd mentioned her, but second in the mile, also did real well as far as program numbers at Missouri State.
Yeah, Edna, she just took a whole nother leap, this year, from last year. I mean, we knew she was very, very talented coming in as a freshman a year ago, but just working on getting stronger, getting used to the competition level. I think was a little bit of last year, certainly getting that experience and seeing what things were like and putting herself in a good position. Um, but she just took a big jump this past year. And it's a testament to her work ethic and her focus and determination and what she wants to accomplish in this sport. And, that was evident with her, runner up finish in the mile, and her time 4:52, to lower that, 7 or 8 seconds from your all-time best, and then all of a sudden you run that 7 or 8 seconds faster at a conference championship. That says, you're a competitor, you're a gamer. And she pushed the Illinois State athlete all the way to the line, actually taking the lead from her on the last lap, which I think was a little unexpected, just with the time that individual had coming in. And so she made it one of the most exciting races of the weekend, even with a runner-up finish. And she's hungrier than ever, to avenge that loss and to, put her stamp on the conference as far as, what she's going to be able to do these next few years. So we're excited about her as well.
We mentioned another field event, but triple jump, Gemalia James, second in the triple jump. Talk about her performance.
Yeah, Jamila is also a gamer. These gamers, kind of have maybe an up and down season as they're working out the kinks and they're, adjusting to training and the racing schedule, or the meet schedule. But Jamila's just another example of, she knows what she's capable of when it comes to those moments. And, she's going to bring it, she's going to be, right there at the very end. She had the lead until the very last jump of the competition. It was, snatched away from her by an SIU athlete. And that's all you can ask for, to be right there at the end. And so, coming in, maybe with a season's best of fourth or fifth on the list, but knowing that you've saved your best for last. Those are the types of athletes that we love to have.
Coach, you got some local athletes listed on your roster. Is recruiting locally important to you?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's so many large, successful programs, close by, that we would love to be, that first choice for everybody. We certainly understand that, as part of the recruiting process, sometimes those individuals, one of the top things for them is to get away, and so that, leaves us maybe not at the top of the list. But for those that maybe have grown up, knowing a lot about Missouri State or Missouri State athletics, and, aren't that person who really wants to get far away from home for whatever reason, then I think we are becoming, as we're progressing, whether it's cross country or track and field or whatever event area within track and field, that we're doing more and more within those event areas to attract that interest and to say, well, okay, things are really ramping up there. And I kind of want to be part of this new, push that they're making. And so, we're certainly always, looking in and then out, when it comes to recruiting. Start close to home, branch out to Missouri, branch out to bordering states, and then go beyond that if there's, additional interest out there. But yeah, it's very vital to our program to, be in the mix with all of the top talent that's close by.
Coach, we have a fan question. Today's fan question, courtesy of Great Corner Screen Printing and Embroidery, Missouri State Athletics official screen printing partner. Matt asks, what qualities have you seen in past Bear student athletes that made them successful during their time at Missouri State?
It's a good question. The attributes that I think have made people the most successful are those of selflessness, of good attitude, of wanting to be, connected with their coach in such a way that there's, a trust factor there, where they're not questioning, everything that's taking place, that they're, confident and trusting that the coach has their best interest at heart, and just being a great teammate, being selfless, doing whatever it takes to help those around you. If we can have a team full of those, the performances will come. We're always excited as we recruit to try to find people who are of like mind and of like, person that of the people we already have on our team, because we just want to keep filling the roster with those types of people, and so that's who we're after.
You'd mentioned recruiting going pretty well, but how is it during this quarantine? I mean, what can you do right now when you're stuck at home?
Yeah, it's very different. Sending the links out to the virtual tours of campus for those that haven't been to campus yet, and just being in as close a contact as we can at this point with those recruits. Texts and emails, phone calls. Just letting them know that we're interested and that this is such a unique time for everybody, and that we get that, we understand that, and hopeful that they're understanding of our situation, as well as us being understanding of their situation. And so I still think that we're able to recruit, by and large, the way we would like to right now, and we're excited about the interest level that we have. And I think you know, coming off of the success of the indoor season, there's recruits that notice that. We put a lot of stuff out on social media, and we have comments all the time of, "Hey, your team just really looks like it's a fun group to be around and to be a part of, and you guys are really doing something, and I think I want to be a part of that." And so, that sparks a lot of interest, and then we just have to capitalize on that.
Coach, a couple of good news stories I wanted to ask you about. Shelby Palmer recognized this year as the outstanding volunteer. Tell us about that.
Yeah, she helps out at the watershed here in Springfield, and I know that she's spent a lot of time out there. It's a cause that's near and dear to her, and she's made that a very important thing within her daily and weekly life. The classwork and the homework and the training and all of that. She's made that a priority, and it's very nice to see her rewarded for that effort. And so we're proud of her for that.
Also, former Bear Jessica Allen. What can you tell us about her accomplishments?
Yeah, Jessica is at med school at KU right now, kind of working a little bit of the front lines with this, virus that's going. But from an athletic standpoint, she's really found her groove with some of the longer distance stuff, half marathon and marathon. And she ran a qualifying time for the Olympic trials, that were just this past month or so. Now, unfortunately, she had some injuries going in, was only cleared to run just days before the actual trials. So she knew fitness wasn't, great. She also knew she probably wasn't going to be able to complete the whole thing, just based on doctor's orders. But when you qualify for something that prestigious, you go take advantage of just being there and being a part of it and seeing all the other people who are down there competing. And so that was, a highlight for her. And I'm sure it left her hungry, to be able to do that again and to be healthy next time and to see what things would look like if she would have been healthy. So, we're proud of her efforts, both athletically and helping, those fight this illness.
Coach, sounds great. Great job today. Congratulations on the season. Hopefully, you can get the team together here real soon and get started for next year at Missouri State.
Definitely. We're looking forward to it, and appreciate the time today, Tom.
You bet. This has been Inside the Cave, presented by American National Insurance. Insurance you can count on for whatever life takes you. To connect, visit AmericanNational.com. American National Insurance is a proud sponsor of the Missouri State Bears. Be sure to tune in next time as Art will visit with beach volleyball head coach Terry Del Conte.